Hey guys, Whitney here. I'm the Director of Investor Education here at passiveinvesting.com, and I'm so excited to have you here today. We are going to dive into another episode of How to Invest in Passive Real Estate, where we teach you how to build passive income and long-term wealth through real estate-backed investments. So let me just start off. Maybe you've tried to invest passively before, but couldn't quite get comfortable with the ins and the outs of the investment. Or maybe you've actually invested in a deal before and you're like, oops, I made a mistake. Or you're just so overwhelmed by all the information out there that you just haven't gotten started. If that is you, you're in the right place, because here we're going to help you learn the biggest myths that investors have that keep them sidelined and never get in a deal. Then we're going to learn about the different terms, the pros and cons, and even, yes, math around passive investing so you can avoid making costly mistakes. And then we're just going to learn how to put all this knowledge to use so you can invest confidently in your first or next investment. But let's go ahead and bust a couple of those myths out of the way that investors tell themselves. And that is, number one, I have no control if I invest passively. And, to a certain extent, that might be a little bit true, right? When you invest passively, you're investing in an operating business that other people are running on your behalf, okay? But you have an immense amount of control on the decisions that are made prior to that investment that are going to help mitigate risk, okay? And we're going to talk about that today. And the other big myth that investors tell themselves is that they won't make that high of a return, okay, if they invest passively versus if they did it all themselves, which might be true, but I can guarantee you, though, if you are doing all the heavy lifting on your investment, the biggest return that you don't have is the return on your time. And for me, that is why I love passive investing. That return on my time actually allows me to spend, an immense amount of time doing the things I love and spending, time with my crazy crew here. And that's the whole reason why I invest passively. And so I can travel with who I want, be who I want, and do whatever I want when I want. Okay. Now, it wasn't always like that. I started off investing in 2002, doing live-in flipping and house hacking. And, I did pretty well building up buckets of equity for myself, but I didn't have my time back. My husband and I did a few projects together. And then, really a few years ago, we had to slap ourselves in the forehead. We're just like, why aren't we renting properties as opposed to flipping them? And when we started doing that, that's when the light bulb came on for us, is that we have to find ways to create multiple streams of income passively that don't rely on us doing anything, other than vetting the investment and getting involved. Okay. We can let other people do the heavy work on our behalf. And fast forward here a few years later, we have in partnership more than 6,300 units, multifamily units, and more than 1,400 self-storage units. But these are all vanity metrics. What is the result that all this investing allows us to have? And that is to have 100% freedom and choice on how we spend our time. Okay. To me, that is the ultimate prize and ultimate gift, okay, whenever you get involved in passive investing, is that you're unlocking your income and wealth potential from your time involvement, okay? Now, my results, actually are pretty common. They're not that uncommon in real estate, and especially in passive, investing in real estate, okay? But remember, this is all an iceberg. There's a lot of work that went into here and what you just see are the results on top. And that's what I'm going to help you shortcut your path to, is what are all the things that you need to learn and know in order to get your results faster. Okay. And we can help you do that here at passiveinvesting.com. We've acquired over $742 million of multifamily real estate, more than 4,200 units or doors acquired. But most importantly, what I get to do here is work with our happy investors in each of our deals. Okay, so in this educational series, we are going to tackle a lot about financials, legal, and tax, but just remember, this is for educational purposes only. So make sure that you are talking to your team, your financial, legal, and tax team prior to making any investment decision. All right, so let's dive in. What are the 3 ways that passive investor maintains control? Okay. I know that might sound a little over the top. You're like, Whitney, really? As a passive investor, do I get to maintain control? You do over certain elements of the investment. And that is all the work that goes in upfront. So let's dive in on and kind of pick this apart. So what is control? Okay. If we define control, it's to determine the behavior or supervise the running of. Okay. Now, what I find interesting in the definition, it doesn't say eliminate all risk. Okay. It doesn't mean that we will never have any sort of risk. It's just that we're trying to hold on to as many puzzle pieces as we can and direct them. Okay. Supervise the running of. Okay. It doesn't mean actually determine the or to hold on to everything and not have any risk to it. So let's think about that. I want you to take a couple minutes. What kind of control do you have on the other assets that you have in your portfolio? Okay, let's think about the stock market and stuff like that. Bonds, mutual funds, other types of strategies that you've been involved in. Okay. Now, if you think about that, if you're invested in the stock market, you might be like, I don't have that much control at all. Like I don't have any control on whether Elon Musk sends out a tweet at 3 o'clock in the morning and changes, the whole profile, of Tesla. You don't, right? But yet we get involved in these strategies every day. So let's learn to take back control of our wealth and put our wealth in areas where we actually have an element of control over. And for me, I love investing in real estate. Okay, we've gone over that a few times, to make sure to look for those videos. But in real estate, what I'm looking for is an operating partner. Okay, so the general partners or the operating partners, I'm looking to invest in a team. And the way I think of it is, I am the CEO of my passive investing business. Okay. And I am looking for a COO to run that particular asset on my behalf. So, what you want to do, what I suggest investors doing, is actually, diving in, and once you know your goals and your risk tolerance, diving in and understanding what operators I can interview as your COO. Do you like them? Are they reputable? Do they seem transparent and honest? What is their background? Okay, have they been in real estate before? Have they done syndications before? How many deals have they taken full cycle, and what are the returns on those? How is their team built out? Okay, are they a one-man show? Do they have just a couple people, or are they a full investment team? What is their strategy? Okay, do they invest for cash flow, forced equity? Are they more buy and hold? We want to understand what their investment strategy is. And we want to understand what the major risks are of the investment plan or the business plan of the asset. Okay, this is not an exhaustive list. This is just an intro list of questions to ask an operator whenever you are interviewing the operator to see if they're going to, fit the bill as your COO of your passive investing business. Okay, this is a huge decision, right? This is one of 3 key decisions that we can make prior to actually writing an investment check. The second decision that we get to make is what market we're going to invest in. All right. Once we determine who our COO is going to be, where are they already investing? And do we align with those investing decisions? What is the market? Is the population increasing? Are the jobs increasing? Are the jobs diversified? Okay, is the income growing in these markets? What is the crime rate? Is it declining, stabilized and declining? What is the landlord, if you were talking about multifamily, what are the landlord tenant laws of the state? Are they landlord friendly? Okay, as we saw in COVID, that's huge. We want to have the ability to work with our tenants, in the most flexible manner we possibly can, right? And then also, are the tax laws favorable for business, right? Again, what we're trying to do by picking the COO of our business and understanding that they are in a high growth market, we're stacking investing cards in our favor. Okay, this is another way that we get control because we get to make this decision before we ever write a check. All right, then the deal. Okay, this is the last piece of the puzzle. We actually get to make the decision. Once we know who's running the business, where they are investing, now we can take a look at the actual deal and does it actually help us meet our investing goals? All right. We get to make all of these key decisions beforehand by looking at the data before we ever write an investment check. So we want to understand what the type of deal is, what the location is, the different metrics on the deal, like what is the cap rate on the deal? Okay, when we're just covering this at a high surface level, what's the entrance cap rate? What's the proposed exit cap rate that we're looking at? Okay, what's the sensitivity analysis across all those potential returns in that range? What is the business plan on the asset? What are the financials look like from the trailing 12 from the previous owner, and what we're planning to do moving forward as the operations team? What kind of, if lending's being used, what kind of lending, what's the lending structure, and how is it impacting the deal? And then we can get into all the returns. Okay, what is the preferred return, the internal rate of return, and the equity multiple on the deal? Okay, and we're going to pick apart each one of these areas of control in greater detail in future videos. But these are the three key decisions that you get to make prior to writing any investment check, right? And guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you want to learn more, go over to passiveinvestingwithwhitney.com, fill out the form there. You'll get some great freebies that I have for you to download, as well as be able to jump on a phone call with me. More importantly, you'll be able to get to see our deal flow as well. I look forward to talking to each and every one of you, and have a fantastic day.